All right, so if you're not already doing so, please stand and cover yourselves for the reading of our scriptures. We begin our journey through Shemot, which is also known as Exodus, chapter 29. Verse 1 says, V'zeh hadavar asher ta'aseh lahem lekadesh otam lechahen li lekach par echad ben bakar ve'elim shenayim temimim velechem matzot ve'chalot matzot velotot rather bashemen urekike matzot meshuchim bashemen solet chitim ta'aseh otam ונתתה אותם על סל אחד, והיא קרבת אותם בסל, ואת הפר ואת שני האלים, ואת הארון ואת בניו תקריב אל פתח אוהל מועד, ורחצת אותם בימים, ולקחת את הבגדים, והלבשת את הארון, את הכותונת, ואת מעיל האפוד, ואת האפוד, ואת החושן, ואפות לו בחשב האפוד. ושמת המצנפת על ראשו, ונתת את נזר הקודש על המצנפת. ולקחת את שמן המשחה, ויזכת על ראשו, ומשכת אותו. ואת בניו תקריב, והלבשתם כותנות. וחגרת אותם אבנת אהרון ובניו, וחבשת להם מגבעות, והייתה להם כהונה לחוקת עולם, ומלאתה יד אהרון ויד בניו. והקרבת את הפר לפני אוהל מועד, ושמח אהרון ובניו את ידיהם על ראש הפר. ושחטת את הפר לפני יהוה פתח אוהל מועד. ולקחת מדם הפר ונתת על קרנות המזבח באצבעך, ואת כל הדם תשפוך אל יסוד המזבח. ולקחת את כל החלב המכסה את הקרב, ואת היותרת על הכבד, ואת שתי הכליות, ואת החלב אשר עליהם המזבחה, והקטרת. ואת בשר הפר, ואת עורו, ואת פרשו תשרוף באש מחוץ למחנה חטאת הוא. ואת העיל האחד תיקח, ושמחו אהרון ובניו את ידיהם על ראש העיל. ושחטת את העיל, ולקחת את דמו, וזרחת על המזבח סביב. ואת העיל תנתח לנתחיו, ורחצת קרבו וכרעיו, ונתת על נתחיו ועל ראשו. המזבח את כל העיל, והיא כתרת עולהו ליהווה, ריח ניחוח אישה ליהווה הוא. ולקחת את העיל השני, ושמח אהרון ובניו את ידיהם על ראש העיל. ושחטת את העיל, ולקחת מדמו, ונתת על תנוך אוזן אהרון, ועל תנוך אוזן בניו הימנית, ועל בוהן ידם הימנית, ועל בוהן רגלם הימנית, וזרחת את הדם על המזבח סביב. ולקחת מן הדם אשר על המזבח, ומשמן המשחה, והזית על הארון, ועל בגדיו, ועל בניו, ועל בגדי בניו אותו, וקדש, ובנדיו, ובניו, ובגדי בניו אותו. ולקחת מן העיל החלב והעליה, ואת החלב המכסה את הקרב, ואת יותרת הכבד, ואת שתי הכליות, ואת החלב אשר עליהן, ואת שוק הימים, כי אל מילואים הוא. והיכר להם אחת, ואכלת להם שמן אחת, ורקיק אחד מסל המצות אשר לפני יהווה. ושמת הכל על כפי אהרון ועל כפי בניו, והנפת אותם תנופה לפני יהווה. ולקחת אותם מידם המזבח, והכתרת על העלה לריח ניחוח לפני יהווה, אישהו ליהווה. ולקחת את החזה מאל המילואים אשר לאהרון, והנפת אותו תנופה לפני יהווה, והיה לך למנה. וקידשת את חזה התנופה, ואת שוק התרומה אשר הונף, ואשר הורם מאל המילואים, מאשר לאהרון ומאשר לבניו. והיה לאהרון ולבניו לחק עולם מאת בני ישראל, כי תרומה הוא התרומה יהיה מאת בני ישראל, מזבחי שלמיהם תרומתה ליהווה. ובגדי הקודש אשר לאהרון יהיו לבבני אחריו למשחה, והם ולמלא בם את ידם. 7 ימים ילבשם הכהן תחתיו מבניו, אשר יבוא אל אוהל מועד לשרת בקודש. ואת אל המילואים תיקח ובשלת את בשרו במקום קדוש. Ve'achal Aharon uvanav et basar ha'ayil, ve'et ha'lechem asher besal petach ohel moed. Ve'achlu otam asher kupar bahem lemale et yadam lekadesh otam bezar lo yochal ki kodesh hem. Ve'im yivater mi besar u mi luim umin ha lechem ad ha boker vesarafta et hanotar ba'esh lo ye'achel ki kodesh hu. Ve'asita le'aharon ulevanai kaha kechol asher ziviti otaha shivat yamim timale yadam. Ufar hatat ta'aseh layom al ha-kippurim vehiteta al ha-mizbeach behapercha alav umashachta oto lekad sho. Shivat yamim techaper al ha-mizbeach vekidashta oto vehaya ha-mizbeach kodesh kadashim kol ha-nogea ba-mizbeach yikdash. V'zeh asher ta'aseh al ha-mizbeach kevasim b'nei shana shenayim layom tamid. Et ha-keves ha-echad ta'aseh v'boker ve'et ha-keves ha-sheni ta'aseh bein ha-arbayim. Ve'isaron solet balul b'shemen katit reva ha-hin v'nesech revi'it ha-hin yayin la-keves ha-echad. Ve'et ha-keves ha-sheni ta'aseh bein ha-arbayim keminchat ha-boker u'cheniska ta'aseh la-lereach nichoach ishe la-yaveh. Olot tamid ledorotehem petach ohel moed lipnei Yahweh asher ivaed lachem shama ledaber elecha sham. Venoadti shama libnei Yisrael venikdash bechevodi. Vekidoshti et ohel moed ve'et hamizbeach ve'et aharon ve'et banav akadesh lechahen li. Vashachanti betoch b'nei Yisrael v'hayiti lachem lelohim. And finally, v'yad'u ki ani Yahweh Elohehem asher hotzeti otam me'eretz Mitzrayim leshakni v'tocham ani Yahweh Elohehem. All right, you may be seated. All right. Targum Onkelos by Razid and Wagner opens chapter 29 of Shemot, remember this Exodus, with the following statement. After completing the tabernacle construction and making the priestly garments, Moses told the priests how to purify themselves so that they could eat the sacrificial offerings. Did you catch that? So he's saying that they've been told how to build the tabernacle, and then they've been told how to build the priestly garments, and now they're being Moses told the priests how to purify themselves so that they could eat the sacrificial, so they could eat the sacrifice. So they're not making sacrifices and just burning them up and saying God's eating them, right? This is all about the sacrifices are being made and people are eating them. In other words, it's a barbecue. I've always said, and I stand by it, if the Bible would say barbecue instead of sacrifice, a lot less people would be so resistant to Judaism. Anyway, in his book, A Commentary on the Book of Exodus, Umberto Moshe David Casuto wrote the following concerning verses 1 through 37 of chapter 29. Moses was given directions concerning the induction of Aaron and his sons into the priesthood. The implementation of these instructions is related almost word by word in Leviticus 8. This ceremony belongs to the sphere of sacrificial service, and its details can only be explained in the general framework of the laws pertaining to the offerings. His book also said the following concerning verses 1 through 37. I shall postpone the annotation of these verses until I am able to expound chapter 33 in Numbers, in the general context of the public sacrifices. Then there's a footnote on the same page 388, by the way, which says the following. Unhappily, the author died before he was able to write his commentary on either Leviticus or Numbers. So I have relied on him heavily to help explain things that are otherwise difficult to explain, and we'll have not a lot from him in this chapter. But don't worry, I found a lot of good stuff otherwise, in other places. Try to say other place and otherwise at the same time it came out otherwhere. Okay, so verse 1. And this, the word that shall make to them, to sanctify with them, to serve as priests to me, to take young bull, one son, herd, and of the herd, and rams 2, complete. It is the number 2. So it says, Vizeh, and this, that's really all that means. Hadavar, this is the word, this is the speech, the discourse, the promise, the precept, the edict, the royal mandate. Those are all the things it says about davar, which is the word. It's the word. It's the davar. Get it? Just saying. So it's a word, but a word can be a single word like we think, but it can also be a sentence, a paragraph, a 400-page law. It's a word. We use that same type of thing. What's the word of the day? Well, they're not going to get up and say car, right? The word of the day is going to be, be fruitful and multiply. It's going to be, more than one word, right? So don't get hung up on that idea of one word, because it can be a whole book. It really can. It can be a whole volume of books. It's just a word. This is asher, which is translated to the English word T-H-A-T, that, or W-H-I-C-H, which. So, whichever way makes the sentence makes sense is the right way. Then it's ta'aseh, shall make. It's from asa, to labor, to work about, to manufacture, to fabricate. So we're still in make it mode, right? It's been going on for a long time now. Make this and make that, and we're still there. Lahem. It sounds a lot like lachem. I think I read that wrong too. Lahem, to them. Le Kadesh. To them is the same as for them. So you can write it either way. It doesn't make any difference. I always say to because I think of the lamed as the word to, right? Just the way I do it. Anyway, Le Kadesh. And that's kadosh, you hear it, to sanctify or for sanctification. You can say it either way, it doesn't matter. So what is it? It's to be pure, clean, used of a physical purity and cleanliness. So you can purify yourself by taking a bath or taking a shower, right? you can purify your hands by washing them. You can purify your plates by washing them. Are you getting there? There's an idea of purity in that it's cleanliness. But it's also to be holy or sacred. So what is that? It's to be set apart, to be separated from. It's used of men who devote themselves to any god, because it's a general word. It's not specifically, it can only be used with the God, right? So they say it of people who worship false gods. So since he's separated and devoted to his God, he has separated himself from all other religions. That's the idea. So you get the idea. So otam, that's just with them. Lechahen, to serve as priests. I'm trying to say it wrong. Hen, Cohen. Dadgum. They say of the priest is someone to predict, a prophet, a soothsayer, and one who undertakes anyone's cause, his deputy, delegate, he who stands in anyone's matter. Sounds like a lawyer, doesn't it? He kind of works as that. But if we look through the eyes of today, and they say it's someone who predicts, a prophet, a soothsayer, we're going to get this completely wrong. Because if I know the Torah, and I watch your life and the way you're living it, and I say, you're headed down the wrong road. If you stay down this road, this, and this is going to happen to you. It's not that I know the future. It's that I know the Torah and what it says. And it says if you jump out of an airplane at 30,000 feet without a parachute, it might not work out real well for you. No, it doesn't really say that. But it's a pretty good example of, you're under the law whether you like it or not. There's nobody that's not under the law. I don't care who you are. Because God created all of the law. He created what they call the natural law. He created what they call mathematical law, statistical law, you name it. If it's a law, he created the whole concept. So there's a law called gravity, the law of gravity. And you don't want to break that law from the 30,000 foot drop, right? So if you're going around breaking that law, whatever the law is that's in the Torah, it also tells you what's going to happen, what your punishment's going to be. And people like that seem like soothsayers, right? They seem like people who can predict the future. They seem like what we think of today as prophets. You get it? But a prophet in that time period was a Torah teacher. And he could tell you your future simply by watching the way you live. So that's what they're really talking about. They're not talking about real soothsayers. Then it says li, which means to me, lekach, to take. You're going to pick something up. They use this of a man taking a wife, right? Because he's taking her in matrimony. But it's all, to fetch something, to receive something is to take it, right? That's all they're saying. Par, so you're going to take a young bull. That's the word for a young bull. Echad, so you're going to take one young bull. Then it says ben, so that's the son. This young bull will be the son bakar, the son of a herd. So you're not going to just go out there and find some lonely bull walking on his own. No, why would they have to make that distinction? You're supposed to take it from your herd, not somebody else's. You're not supposed to just, hey, the Lord has need of that bull, so we're taking it. No, it's got to be of your herd. Then it's be'elim and rams. It's the word for ram from its curved and twisted horns. So the word actually depicts the picture of a ram. Then it says shanayim, 2. So you're going to take 2 rams. Then it says temimim. That's complete. It's perfect, whole, entire. In other words, without blemish. So your translation is, and this is the command which you shall carry out for them, to sanctify them, to serve as priests to me. Take a young steer from the herd with 2 spotless rams. don't know why I said lambs. It says rams right there. All right, so then it's of the words for them or unto them. Even Ezra said the them was Aharon and his sons. I can only guess that in his time, people were confused about who the them was. Well, he's right. Them is Aaron and his sons. Rashi wrote that this sacrifice was for the sin of the golden calf. However, the text clearly tells us that the sacrifice was to sanctify them to serve as the Kohanim to God. It clearly says that. So Rashi is utterly wrong. And anybody else who went down that road is utterly wrong, because the text tells us that the sacrifice was to sanctify Aharon and his b'nai, his sons, his children. All right, verse 2. And bread, unleavened bread, and cakes, matzot, mingled in oil, and wafers, unleavened bread, anointing in oil, fine wheat shall make with them. The lechem, now there's your word. A while ago it was lehem, now it's lechem, bread. And you know how we'll say, let's get together next week and break bread together? We don't say it as much as we used to, but boy, when I was growing up, people said that all the time. Let's break bread. Well, we didn't break bread. When we got together, we were generally having chicken. And if you had rolls, I guess when you broke them off, because they're always cooked in a pan, maybe that's what they meant, because you're breaking them off. No, we weren't really breaking bread. We were having a meal. Well, the Jews used it the exact same way. They'd say, well, let's break bread. Well, their normal meal was bread. So that's where that comes from, is from a people who lived off of bread mostly. They didn't eat a lot of meat. Meat was a special occasion, and this, of course, is a special occasion. Now it says matzot. Now that's unleavened bread. We just had that celebration not too long ago, right? The week of matzot, of unleavened bread. Then it's the halot, so they say, and cakes. And we think of them as wafers, because they're real thin and they're kind of small. This is matzot, so cakes of matzot, cakes of unleavened bread. Velo tot, that will be mingled ba shemen, in oil. And the word it means fat or fatness. And of course, you get the oil from the fat, back in their day, of the animals. Then it says urekike. Oh, well, there's your word for wafers. What was I looking at? Oh, they said matzot twice because they're telling you what they want you to do with the matzot. So now we have the I knew I was thinking they're right. So now it says wafers, which are thin cakes. Then it says matzot. So here's where it says wafer. The wafers are to be made of matzot as well. Then it says meshuchim. So now you're going to cover over them bashemen, with oil. So you have the lechem, the bread, the regular bread, which you think of that blows up, right? And then you have the matzot, which when you make it, you mix it with oil. And then you have the wafers, which are not mixed with oil when they're made, but you do brush over them with oil once they come out of the oven. To this day, people do that with bread. When it comes out of the oven, they put oil on the top of it. Some people put butter, but some people put oil. All right, so then we go to solet, which is fine. It's chitim, so it's fine wheat or fine flour. That's make it out of the good stuff. Then it says ta'aseh. Now that's from asa, to produce, to labor, to manufacture, to fabricate, right? So you're going to do all of that, and then you're going to make otam. So you're going to make the wafers with all the other stuff, right? So you've got and unleavened bread and unleavened cakes covered with oil. You shall make them of fine wheat flour. I think I may have left part of that one out, but you get the idea, because it looked to me like it should say unleavened bread, unleavened bread mixed with oil, and then unleavened bread made covered with oil. I'm pretty sure that's what it should have said. All right, so of the words unleavened bread, Rashi and Rashbam believe there were 10 of each kind of bread and cake. I don't know what they based that on. I haven't, I didn't really research that, but they felt like there were 10 of each. Where it says covered with oil, Rashi said that after the bread was baked, it was then covered over with oil. He also added that this bread was shaped like the Greek letter chi. Now, before you say, but Rob, the Hebrews didn't speak Greek at Sinai. In fact, the Greeks didn't speak Greek at Sinai since they and their language didn't exist back then, right? True. But I should point out that the last letter of the Hebrew Aleph Bet is called a tav. Not a tav, but tav is the word. So it's called a tav. It's just called tav. At the time of Sinai, the tav was shaped just like the Greek letter chi, which we now call an X. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but just thought I'd throw that in there. Verse 3. And give you them upon basket one, and make come you with them in basket, and the young bull and to the rams. So it's the number 2 and the 2 rams, but they say to the rams. Venata, and you give. To give is to cause to receive, to give into the hand, to place into the hand, to deliver to someone. So you're going to give them. Otam, you're going to give to them all, which is upon or above, Saul. So it's going to be on a basket. Saul is basket. A slender rod of which baskets are woven, hence a basket woven of rods. The basket made of reeds, a wicker basket, a bread basket. So kind of like a laundry basket. They have to be big. If you cut up even a young bull and 2 rams, think about how big that basket's going to have to be. I'm just saying. Echad is the word for one or first. The hike rabta, and you make come. So it's saying you bring otam with them, besal in the basket. Ve'et and hapar, the young bull. Ve'et and shenei, and 2 ha'elam, and 2 the rams. So and 2 rams, and the 2 rams, to put it where you can understand it in English. So the translation is, and you put them on one basket, and you bring them in the basket, the young steer and the 2 rams. Nachmanides said that the them here, or the object, was the basket, the young steer, and the 2 rams. I can only guess that they say these things because it must have been a matter of confusion in their time. I don't think that any of these things confused the people at Sinai. I think that as time went on and you watch, anybody who's read what the Christians call the Old Testament, what we call the Hebrew Bible or the Tanakh, if you've read through that, then you know that you go through, you got this king who he lives by according to the Torah, and he's a good king, and things go well for 12 years or 14 years or whatever it is. And then the next guy comes along and he doesn't live according to Torah for so many years. And so then everything is bad, and then it's good, and then it's bad, and then it's good. Well, in all of those time periods, there's a breakdown. When it's bad, there's always a breakdown of literacy. There's a breakdown in the law itself, because if you're not following God's law, you're following God knows what, but you're not following God's law. And these are breakdowns of the law itself. They're breakdowns of literacy. They're breakdowns in understanding. And every time Judaism has gone through that, this has become time periods where some things like this would come up, because they really shouldn't. I mean, if you're literate and you've learned the law and you've been raised the way the God's law says you're supposed to be raised, these would not be matters of confusion. But time breaks down. knowledge breaks down over time, I should say. And this is, I think, what's causing this. Because in the time of the sages, that was a huge breakdown. Very few Jews actually spoke Hebrew. And that's true today. Very few Jews speak Hebrew. There was a time when most of them spoke Yiddish. World War II is that time. More of them spoke Yiddish than Hebrew. So they go through these periods, right? And these questions come up that you just think, really? You didn't know who the them was? I think that's what's going on. All right, so in verse 4, and Aharon and sons his, you shall bring to entrance tent appointed times, and wash you with them in waters. Ve'et, and Aharon, that's Aaron, Ve'et, and Banav, and sons his, so his sons, Takeriv, you shall make come, so it's you shall bring. El, that's to, T-O, Petach, to the entrance, the opening. Ohel, that's the tent. It's the tabernacle. So it's not just the tabernacle, it's the tabernacle moed. Those are appointed times. To set a time of a point of time, especially a festival day, the feast of God, the festival sacrifices. So it's the tent of special meetings, if you will. The rahatzta, and you and wash you, literally. So and you wash. Well, you should know this is to wash the human body, but metaphorically, the defilement of sin adhering to men. So to wash the hands of innocent, for the Christians, like when, what was that dude's name? Pontius Pilato washed his hands and said, I'm not guilty of this. Oh, yes, he was. But, he was trying to wash his hands in innocence, right? To wash oneself, to be washed, to wash the body, the garments. Remember, back in this day, soap was not a real option for a lot of people, so washing was literally just getting in the water and rubbing off the excess, and whatever you can get off, and your clothes, scrubbing them with rocks and stuff like that. It was a very different time. It's not what we think of to wash, but Moshe is not being told, you go get you a rag and some soap and wash these guys. No, he's being told that it's his responsibility to see to it that these men have been immersed in water and that their clothing has been immersed in water. This is all part of the purification process. It's not that by doing this to their clothes and their body that they become pure. It's that this represents what's supposed to be going on inside them. All right, so this is otam, so it's with them. Bayamin, so you wash them with water. And by the way, that's in plural, because there's no such thing as water, right? Because that would be a single drop. So you don't wash somebody with a single drop. You wash them with waters. That's why it's in plural. All right, so verse 24. And you shall bring Aharon and his sons to the tent of appointed times, and you will wash them with waters. So of the words wash them, Rashi said that the verb wash signified total immersion. The word really doesn't do that, but if you're going to wash someone or someone's going to wash themselves, I think that it's kind of implied that you wash the whole thing and not just part of it, So I would kind of agree with it in that I'm sure Moshe had to say, now don't forget to wash behind your ears. Nachmanides said them was Aharon and his sons. Again, it's mind-boggling to me that they had to say these things. But those were, such were the times. Verse 5, and to take you the garments and clothe you, Aharon, the tunic and robe, the ephod and the breastplate, and ephod you to he with belt the ephod. Vela chachta, so it's and to take you. So, and you take et ha bagadim, beged, garments, clothing. So you take the clothing, the hil bashta, and clothe you. So again, Moshe is not being told, hey, you know, these are little 2-year-old little boys, and you got to pull their shirt over the top of their head and pull their pants up over their diaper. No, good Lord, no. That's not what's happening. It's just that he has to make sure he's in charge of, once they've washed everything and all of that is proper, that these men wear what they're supposed to wear. They're not supposed to show up with the wrong clothes on. So that falls on him to make sure all this is correct. Then it says, et, which is just a pointer, Aharon, we know that that's Aaron, et ha kutonet, the tunic. That was that thing with the hole cut we talked about just recently. It was like what we think of as a poncho. It had the hole cut, and then they had to sew a little thing around it so that it would be strong and wouldn't get torn just putting it over their head. So this is the first thing. This is the tunic. But the tunic, well, I should say this. The idea of, what's the word I'm looking for, is chronological order. The idea of chronological order did not exist in Judaism in the time of the writing of the Bible. It didn't exist. So they don't do things in chronological order. They do them in the order of, this is how, you know, I'm talking about this. I thought about something else. I throw that in there. It may be something I did way up here or something that goes way down there. Chronological order did not exist. Even during the time of the New Testament writings and the Second Temple, because you don't see it in the Assumption of Moshe. There's no chronological order there. In fact, there's a problem because people try to keep it in chronological order and it throws it all off because they don't understand that idea did not exist. So the writings that you get from the Second Temple period don't follow that. Even in the New Testament, the letter of Revelation is not, can I say that again? It is not written in chronological order. It therefore is not a book of what's going to happen in the future. It is very literally a book about what took place in the past. So the Christian church has gotten that completely wrong. Why? Because they're trying to look at it as though it's actually in chronological order, something that did not exist in that time period among Jewish people. You follow? And it was Jews who wrote it. It doesn't make any difference if the only copy you have is in Greek. That makes no difference at all. It was written by a Jew. And in his world, chronological order did not exist. Anyway, this one kind of is in order, but not chronologically, but just parts and pieces. So it says, and me'il, the robe. That's the upper garment, the exterior tunic, if you will, wide and long, reaching to the ankles. Then it says, that's from the word begin, ha-ephod. That's the garment of the high priest worn over the tunic and the robe. So you got a tunic, a robe, and a ephod that's worn over the top of that. Then it says, and ha-ephod, and the ephod itself. Wait a minute, didn't we just say that? What did I miss here? Okay, you got the robe. I must be saying the robe over the ephod. And then the ephod. Okay, I got you. Then we have the and ha-hoshen, and the breastplate, the aphota, and the ephod. It's low. That's a sound alike word. So it's to it, beheshev, with a belt. So you tie the two things together with a belt. That's what he's saying. Ha-ephod. is the other thing. So here's the way it goes to clear that up. I know that got weird. And you take the garments and you clothe Aharon, or you see to it that he's clothed, right, with these garments. The undergarment and the outer garment of the ephod and the breastplate, and tie him with a belt of the ephod, or tie it should say, not him. But tie, gird, all that stuff. Rashi clarified by saying place and then tie the band and apron around Aaron, which is calling the ephod an apron, I guess. Anyway, so you remember there was the bands that tied it together at the top and at the bottom. That's all they're saying. That's all it's saying. All right, I think we can get one, maybe two more here. Verse 6, and set you the turban upon head he, and give you separation the holy upon the turban. So it's Visamta and set you. So, and you set, you place, you put it there. Hamis nefet, the turban. That's that. Today we would think of it maybe as like a rag, a cloth of some sort that they wrap around the top of the head. That's exactly what they're talking about. That's where this whole wrapping the thing around the top of your head comes from. This is all, which is on or upon, Rosho, upon his head. So you're going to put this turban on his head. Venatata, that's that, and you'll give, you put, you place, and so now you're going to place et nezer, the separation. HaKodesh, the holy separation, on Hamiz Nefat, on the turban. So your translation is, and you set the turban on his head, and you put the holy token of separation on the turban. Now we got to talk about this, because this, I can see how this would confuse people at any time. Of those words, Rashi identifies the holy token as the golden plate from verse 36. Didn't know where that sound came from. We got it. All right. Do you remember it? The little thing up here that said holy to the Lord, or what, you remember that? The little gold thing, you say, put that on the turban. Rashi is correct. And then verse 7, and to take you, oil the anointing, and it pour out you upon head he, and anoint you with it. So it's velakakta, so, and you take et shemen, that's the oil that's made from the fat, hamishcha, the anointing oil, veyatzachta, and it pour out you. So, and you pour it out, all which is upon Rosho, upon his head. Umachshakta, and anoint you. You'll anoint him by doing so. Oto, you'll anoint him with it. All right, so the translation then becomes, and you take the anointing oil and pour it on his head, and you anoint him with it. So, of the words his head, Rashi thought that only a drop of oil was placed on his head, and another was placed on his eyebrows, and then a Hebrew tav, which looks like the Greek and English X, was traced. Oy, oy, oy. Even Ezra thought that the oil was poured over the head before the turban was placed on it, but Leviticus 8:9 and Leviticus 8:12 clearly tell us the oil was poured over the turban. Nachmanides thought the turban was open at the top, which it probably was, and thus he believed that the oil was poured directly on the head through the hole. But it seems more likely that Nachmanides was attempting to line biblical text up with preconceived beliefs. Even if he's right, it's not that he knows better, it's that he believes differently. And so he's trying to, I feel like he's trying to make these two things come together. and as I'm saying it and thinking about it, I don't think that this is right. I think that the turban was not open at the top, and that the oil was poured on the turban, just like it says in Leviticus 8, verses 9 and verses 12. I'm going to have to disagree with myself there. Well, we do still have time. So verse 8, and son his you shall make come. Remember, that's to make someone come is to bring them, and make clothe them. And so you see that they put clothing on, tunics. You can make sure they wear tunics. Ve'et, and Banav, and his sons. And we say sons because we know the daughters were not involved, right? B'nai, but those words that come from that means children. But we know that it was his sons, so we say sons. At times we really shouldn't. I try to be careful to make a distinction. Takeriv, you shall make come. That's to bring somebody, to approach, it's time, come over here. Vehi lebashtan, and you make clothe them, to put on a garment, to clothe oneself with a garment. So you just are to give the order, now is the time to put this on. Kutanot, the tunics, and it's that inner garment that's next to the skin, and it's generally sleeveless. All right, so of verse 8, and you shall bring his sons and clothe them with undergarments. And of the words bring his son, even Ezra believed that the place Aharon's sons were to be brought was to the entrance of the tabernacle. He probably based that on the early verse that said that's where this was supposed to take place. I was saying. But obviously people wondered about that. It wasn't clear to them. I will have to stop here because the next verse is a big one, and we just will not have time to get through it. So I will see you next time. Shalom, be shalom, y'all.